Demonstrations take place over the fatal shooting of a black teenager in the French town of Nanterre.
A missing general and silence from the Kremlin prompt rumours of a crackdown on Wagner sympathisers among the army's top brass in Moscow.
Microsoft president and vice CEO tells Euronews that artificial intelligence does not pose an existential risk to humanity.
In the outskirts of the French capital on Thursday, thousands gathered to demand justice.
Naël, c'est l'ami à mon fils. C'était un enfant vraiment respectueux et gentil. On ressent du mal, on a très mal. On a très mal. C'est arrivé à Maël aujourd'hui et les autres, ça peut les arriver aussi.
17-year-old Naël was killed by police on Tuesday morning after driving off during a traffic check. The prosecutor in charge of the case said the officer did not meet the legal conditions for the usage of firearms and instructed his detention. But that did not quell the sense of injustice in the streets.
Il représente la ville de Nanterre, il représente ce qui se passe souvent dans les cités. Vous voyez, il y a beaucoup de cas de violence et personne n'en parle. Et comme je dis, on ne marche pas tous du même pas. Aujourd'hui, sa mort a lui fait du bruit, mais il y en a qui sont morts dans l'anonymat. Et là, que toute la ville soit là, ça montre quelque chose d'important, c'est qu'on en a marre.
Et le problème, c'est que ces problèmes-là, ils arrivent que pour nous, que pour les Arabes, les Noirs. C'est malheureux, c'est triste à dire, mais c'est vrai. Si c'était le fils à Éric Zemmour au volant, personne ne lui aurait tiré dessus. C'est pour ça qu'on vient protester, parce qu'on veut les mêmes lois pour tout le monde et les mêmes droits pour tout le monde.
The killing sparked violent riots across France and reignited old tensions among people who feel discriminated against because of their background or the color of their skin. French police, however, reject the accusation of institutionalized racism.
Le policier fait son travail et effectivement, si il déroge ce qu'on appelle le code de déontologie, il est puni. Aucun policier ne peut justifier l'inexcusable. Quoi qu'il se passe, en fait, il faut se dire qu'aucun policier ne se lève le matin en se disant qu'il va tuer quelqu'un, un gamin. Ça, c'est clair et net.
Across the country, reactions continue to pour in different forms, fueling hope that the anger could be translated into concrete action and perhaps change in the lives of future generations.
On a peur de s'habituer à ça en fait, parce qu'en fait il y a une histoire qui chaque année revient et qui de mieux pour arrêter cette normalisation que la jeune génération en fait.
Merci. Annelise Borges in Paris for Euronews.
A video appealed for calm on Friday, but since then no sign of General Sergei Surovikin. His daughter claims he's at work, but there are reports he's been arrested as a sympathizer of the Wagner rebels. The general's disappearance is a mystery and not one the Kremlin will help to solve.
Очень много спекуляций по поводу генерала Суровикина и его отставки. Могли бы вы прояснить, что с ним происходит? Был ли он отстранен?
Нет, к сожалению, нет. Я рекомендую вам обращаться в Министерство обороны. Это прерогатива министерства.
Nicknamed the Butcher of Syria or General Armageddon, Surovikin praised Wagner leader Yevgeny Prigozhin on several occasions, and some media claim he was aware of the rebellion plans.
Leaders from the 27 EU member states have come together in Brussels for a two-day summit with a busy agenda on the table. They focus primarily on the consequences of last weekend's failed uprising in Russia. The European Union considers the action led by the Wagner Group to be an internal Russian affair.
Das bedroht eben auch die Stabilität dann zum Beispiel eines Landes wie Russland. Auch das haben wir gesehen. Wir haben das sehr genau beobachtet und uns, als die Ereignisse sich überschlugen, miteinander beraten. Klar war für uns immer, dass wir das nur beobachten können. Das ist etwas, das in Russland stattfindet, das nichts zu tun hat mit dem Handeln irgendeines anderen Staates.
The leaders pledged to continue supporting Ukraine in its fight against the Russian invading army, which could include pledging further military aid. Last week, the EU already decided to increase the so-called European Peace Facility by 3.5 billion euros. However, as this may not be enough in the long run, the European Commission is looking at how frozen Russian assets could be used to finance Ukraine.
This showed deep cracks in Putin's system. This mutiny of last weekend will also have aftershocks that we will see. The more it is important that we double down on the support for Ukraine, be it military capability or financial support, very important to be here consistent.
Another important topic at the summit is migration. Following the shipwreck on the Greek coast that killed hundreds of people, a group of EU countries is pushing for a discussion of a new approach in which only those eligible for asylum could enter the EU. This would mean that asylum applications would be processed virtually outside Europe.
We cannot continue a situation where people without permits simply travel through Europe and to countries and live under circumstances that are not acceptable. So this is one of the converging, I would say, views in Europe right now, that we simply have to do something about that.
Economic issues and relations with China are to be on the summit agenda on Friday.
The decision of the majority, the Master of the Rolls, Sir Geoffrey Voss, and Lord Justice Underhill, the Vice President, the deficiencies in the asylum system in Rwanda are such that there are substantial grounds for believing that there is a real risk that persons sent to Rwanda will be returned to their home countries where they faced persecution or other inhumane treatment when in fact they have a good claim for asylum. In that sense, Rwanda is not a safe third country.
Rapper Stormzy and Crystal Palace forward Wilfried Zaha are set to become joint owners of the British non-league club AFC Croydon. The pair are part of a three-man consortium which has agreed a deal to acquire the assets of the South London side. It's the latest in a growing trend of celebrities buying football clubs. Hollywood stars Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are the owners of Wrexham AFC, with the club increasing its income from merchandise, media rights and sponsorship since the deal was made in 2021. LeBron James owned a minority stake in Liverpool for more than a decade, while Hollywood actor Michael B. Jordan became a part owner of AFC Bournemouth last December. And David Beckham famously owned a stake in Inter Miami to join the league of celebrities buying a slice of football clubs in the UK and around the world.
Catalonia's government has ordered municipal councils to end a de facto ban on women going topless at public swimming pools. Many had prohibited topless bathing, burkinis and breastfeeding, despite the practice being protected by a regional equality law.
Pero irían topless, claro que sí, y muchas veces me han dicho, no, tápate. Y en piscinas también de comunitarias y así.
Es algo normal. Lo único que sí que es verdad que hay gente que lo ve como algo, no sé, como obsceno o algo, pero es que tienes que dar de comer a tu hijo.
Al final, cada uno puede tener la libertad de mostrarse como quiera. Y yo creo que está bien. Igual que en la playa está muy normalizado, en las piscinas también.
Swimwear bans remain a contentious issue elsewhere in Europe. In France, dozens of holiday towns have sought to ban burkinis. Last year, the country's highest legal body upheld a ban on the garment at public pools.
Artificial intelligence is not an existential threat to humanity. That's according to Microsoft President Brad Smith, who told Euronews in an interview on Thursday that despite it not posing a risk, guardrails controlled by people still need to be put in place.
We need safety brakes that will ensure that AI remains under human control. We can do that, and this is the right time to come together and figure out how to do it. We should have it at multiple layers so that we're always keeping this technology under control. I think if we do that well, we'll recognize that this is not an existential risk.
EU institutions are currently in the process of negotiating the final text on the bloc's AI Act, which aims to be the first ever law regulating artificial intelligence. Brad Smith says Microsoft has so far been impressed and encouraged by its content, but he's now calling for greater international cooperation when it comes to regulating the technology.
It is realistic and, in fact, necessary to pursue a pretty broad level of international coordination on the regulation of AI. I often think about AI and compare it to something like a commercial aircraft. We need a world where we can get on the same plane, fly across the border, and get off it. It's not like the plane can change in midair. And so governments came together early on, in fact in 1944, to create an international organization to regulate in part the safety standards for airplanes. AI is going to be similar. We need governments to come together.
Brussels wants to have its law on artificial intelligence wrapped up by the end of the year, as it looks to be the world leader in AI governance.